Hello, I'm Matt and I'd like to welcome you to the channel. This channel is dedicated to inspiring others to lose a substantial amount of weight so that they can feel as awesome as I do. And when you've lost 70 or 80 pounds, you will feel really awesome. So that's what this channel is dedicated to doing. Today's video is going to cover Chapter 10 in my book, Deciding for Life, how I lost 70 pounds without working out and while still eating the foods that I love. And Chapter 10 is titled, What I Eat the Rest of the Week. My system days. Last week we talked briefly about what I eat on my cheat days, which is an awesome day of the week to look forward to, but today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about my system days and what I use to lose weight every week, throughout the week, until I get to my cheat day where I gain some of it back. But before we get started, I'm going to go throw this backpack on that's got 70 pounds of lead in it and take you for a 1-mile walk with 70 pounds of lead in it, which really reminds me how awesome I feel when I'm not carrying 70 pounds around, and hopefully inspires you, if you're substantially overweight, to find a healthy way, not necessarily my deciding for life way, but a healthy way for you to lose a substantial amount of weight and feel as awesome as I do. So let's get started, and I'll throw this pack on and we'll go for a little walk. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. But before we get started, I have to give a quick disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, and I do not give any medical advice. My system works very well for me. Make sure that you consult with your physician before you attempt anything in my book or in my YouTube channel, because something that is healthy for me may not be healthy for you with your medical conditions. So today we're going to get on to what I eat on my system days. Now my system days have changed a little bit. When I very first started this system, I based my system off of the Body for Life system, and when I started this system, I was eating a breakfast sandwich for breakfast that I had when I used to do the Body for Life system. And basically what it consisted of was one egg cooked in one of the plastic rounds and on 2 pieces of toast, making basically an egg sandwich. And that's changed somewhat over time, so I switched up, and now typically what I have is 1 piece of my homemade whole wheat bread and 2 eggs in the morning with peppers, onions, and baby spinach. And that works really well for me when I'm working on losing weight. And then I don't eat again. I usually eat breakfast between 8 and 8:30 in the morning. And then I don't eat again until between 12 and 12:30. And when I started my system, I used to just have a Dan and Light and Fit yogurt for my lunch. Almost all of my snacks were Dan and Light and Fit yogurts, because they're 12 grams of protein and 80 calories, and that worked out really well for me. So since then, I've switched up, and because I work from home, I go ahead and I make myself a 1 or 2 egg omelet with the same fillings. I just don't have the piece of bread at lunchtime. And yeah, that's going to be an extra 40, maybe 80 calories, but it's in a different form than the sugar that's in the Dan and Light and Fit yogurt, and that works really well for me. Then we move on to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I typically have a snack. And like I said, when I very first started this, I was doing the Dan and Light and Fit yogurts. So I make my own protein balls. And typically, they vary. When I started making protein balls, I used to use a lot of different kinds of nuts and some peanut butter and stuff like that to bind things together. But I found that what I liked the best was pecans. My recipe for my protein balls varies between about 150 grams of pecans, usually about 50 grams of unsweetened coconut flakes, and about 15 grams of 100% chocolate, from a baking bar. And I'll take that, chop it up in a food processor, and then make them into 12 balls. That gives me enough for 2 snacks a day, 6 days a week. That's 12 snacks. And that varies, because sometimes I make them with less ingredients depending on what I'm trying to do with my weight. That's one thing I like about making the protein balls, is if you're not seeing the results that you want, all you have to do is make them a little smaller. You still get that little bit of food that helps carry you through to the next meal, but you don't necessarily have to have as many calories. And because I don't add any sugar to it at all, that works well for me. Now, how I make it palatable for myself is I use pink Himalayan salt that I grind onto the protein balls when I make them. And to me, it kind of tastes like a salty potato chip that's chocolate. And that makes it really good and palatable to me. And then I'll have dinner between 5 and 6 typically. And our dinners is where we really have variety during my system day week. We might have steaks for dinner. We might have salmon for dinner. Some of those sound more, diet oriented, but a lot of times we'll have hamburgers for dinner. Or we might have dark meat chicken for dinner. We might have pork chops. We might have chicken legs. We might have chicken thighs. We might have pork loin. We might have, hamburgers, like I said. We might even have some sausage on a system day. And all of that works very well for me. Typically we have a vegetable. And we vary our vegetables. Lately we've been eating a lot of pickled beets because we both happen to like them. But we'll have carrots. We'll have green beans. Sometimes we'll have cauliflower. Now, where it might get a little confusing to some people is we still have carbs every day. And typically for me, for a dinner, a lot of times I'll use the baked potato because that's one of the things that I got from Body for Life, because it turns out to be about the perfect size portion for you or for me, because you pick a potato that's about the size of the palm of your hand. We'll have sweet potatoes. I really like those as well, but I try to keep the portions similar. We might even have, we make home fries out of the potatoes. And that goes back to keeping things to about the size of the palm of your hand or the size of your fist. And as long as I eat like that, for my system day meals, for my dinners, that works very well for me. And then the last meal I have during the day is right at 9 o'clock. I typically have a protein ball. Like I said before I started using the protein balls, I would make, I would eat the Dannon Light and Fit yogurts. And I truly believe that if I wasn't making protein balls or didn't find something similar that didn't give the sugar spike, I'd probably still be eating the Dannon Light and Fit yogurts. But typically I eat that at 9 o'clock, and that is typically it for my day. Grok said to shorten my videos up to 8 to 10 minutes, so I want to see what y'all think. So I want you to let me know how you like the format better. Do you like it 8 to 10 minutes? Or do you like to sit around for 30 minutes and watch an old man walk around with a 70-pound backpack on his back? So let me know. With all that said, I do have a book. It's called Deciding for Life: How I Lost 70 Pounds Without Working Out and While Still Eating the Foods That I Love. And yeah, all the content's here on YouTube from every chapter. And I expound on it each week when I do another video. There's 14 chapters, so every 14 weeks roughly, I get through the book. And you don't have to buy the book, but if you do want to support the channel and the work that I do, I'd appreciate it if you went to Amazon, and because all of this, video and editing and all this other stuff that you see in these videos, I do it all by myself. I don't have anybody running a camera. I don't have anybody editing my videos. I don't have anybody uploading them. And out here, uploading is slow. So if you want to support the channel, that's a way you can do it. Another way that you can support the channel by free is just liking, subscribing, and sharing, because those things get the videos in front of more people. Now I'm going to go take this backpack off and give you a quick close. Ooh, shoulder fell asleep. Hand is numb. Ooh, I gotta make sure I get that position better next time. Almost dropped the camera there. Hand don't work so good when it's numb. Boy, that feels so much better when I get that backpack off. It is an excellent reminder of how much better I feel when I'm not carrying that 70 pounds around with me. And hopefully I can inspire somebody out there through doing these videos to feel as awesome as I do. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you know when I upload. If you think this content can be useful to a friend, please share, because that's really what this is about. This is about trying to help as many people as I can lose weight and feel as awesome as I do. Thanks for watching, and may you have an awesome and healthier, and yes, lighter day.